Step 4, we're now going to complete Form 941 for the fourth quarter of the current year. And notice the authors are being too nice to you. It says the difference in tax liability on line 7 has been entered for you. If a box is not used in the table, leave the box empty. Do not enter a 0. Round your calculations to the nearest cent as needed. All right. So, Form 941. If you want to see the whole form, you can. We click up here, click on Read the Tasks, and then down here, you can view the whole 941 all at once if you want. And if you don't want to have to scroll to look at it, you can always print it. So line 1, the number of employees who received wages, tips, or other compensation for the pay period, including March 12th, June 12th, September 12th, December 12th. So in other words, who or how many employees did we have? I clicked up here on this link, and that shows you that we have 3 employees. So we just simply enter a 3 there. Line 2, wages, tips, and other compensation. So gross wages. So how do we find gross wages? Again, we go back up here. And we're going to add monthly earnings for October, November, and December. So we got 10,220 plus 10,680 plus 12,400 equals 33,300. So we're going to click here in box 2. And then check answer. Federal income tax, line 3. Federal income tax withheld from wages. So again, we need this box. So we're going to add up $14.95 plus $16.27 plus December's $2,044. Gives us $51.66. Cool. Line 4, if no wages, tips, or other compensation are subject to Social Security or Medicare tax. But we don't have to worry about that because we do have wages that are subject to both Social Security and Medicare. So line 5A, taxable Social Security wages. Now, this is the gross. What we're going to do in column 1 is enter the gross wages that are subject to Social Security. So let's take these 1 month at a time. Oops, here we go. October, we have $10,220 of gross wages. Are all of those wages taxable for OSTI? Well, we have to remember, what's the wage base for OSTI? If you forgot that it's $127,200, it's listed right here. So let's look at the year-to-date earnings, which means the earnings for Paula as of this pay period, including this pay period. Is she above the limit? No, nobody's above the limit. So all of this, $10,220, is taxable for October. Now let's look at November. How much of the $10,680 is taxable? Well, nobody is over the $127,000 limit for OSTI. So all of the $10,680 is taxable. Now let's look at December. We have to figure out how much of the $12,400 is taxable. Paula is above the limit. So how much of this is taxable? Well, we already calculated that in the very first step. So I'm going to close this, scroll up to the very top, and we already found out that for Paula Bush, the taxable part of her December gross wages is $3,390. So we're going to take that $3,390, not the $4,240, but this $3,390, and then we're going to add it to Joe's gross wages for December and Harley Shaw's gross wages for December, because neither of these two are above the limit. So here's a summary. Oops, where did my screenshot go? Here it is. All right. So again, for October, all of this $10,220 is taxable for OSTI. For November, all of this $10,680, which is right here, is taxable. For December, see if I can move this over. Get my screenshot back. For December, the taxable portion for Paula is, we already calculated up here, it's $3,390, not the $4,240. And then for Joe for December, it's the whole amount, here and here. And then for Harley, it's the full amount, here and here. So when we add these up, we get $32,450 of taxable gross wages for the quarter that's taxable for OSTI. So I'm going to take the $32,450 and then plug it into the 941. $32,450. Again, that number came from this calculation. And there's an alternative calculation if you like doing that, but most students understand this basic calculation better. Okay, column 2. What we're going to do in column 2 is we're going to take the $32,450 taxable for OSTI, and we're going to multiply it by 12.4%, also the decimal equivalent of 0.124. Now, why is it 1.124 or 12.4%? Well, we're calculating the employee portion, 6.2%, plus the employer portion, 6.2%, all at the same time. So we're going to clear this. 32,450 times 0.124 equals 4,023.8. Now, of course, the alternative calculation, you just go 32,450 times 12.4, and the hit percent gives you the same number. Line 5A, taxable Social Security tips. None of these people made tips. So according to these instructions up here, if something is a 0, do not enter a 0. So we're going to leave that line blank. Taxable Medicare wages and tips. Remember, everything is taxable for Medicare on all earnings. So we're going to take this 33,300, that's the gross wages, and plug it in here. And then we're going to multiply it by this 1.45% twice for the employee portion and the employer portion all at the same time. So 1.45 times 2 is 2.9%. That's where they get this 2.9% here. So I'm going to clear this 33,300 times 2.9% or 0.029 gives us $965.70. And you can put the zeros in there if you want. Okay, line 5D, taxable wages and tips subject to additional Medicare withholding. So if you're above that high limit, there's an additional tax for Medicare, but none of the people in this problem have reached that limit, so we're going to leave that blank. Now, 5E, add column 2. So here's column 2 from lines 5A, B, C, and D. So basically, we're going to add 4,023.8 plus 965.7. 4023.8 plus 965.7 gives us 4989.5. So that's just adding up OSTI and Medicare. Line 5F, tax due on unreported tips. In this problem, there are no tips, so we're going to leave it blank. Line 6, total taxes before adjustments. Add lines 3, which is fit, plus 5E, and then 5F, which is blank. So basically, it's our FICA fit. So I'm going to add 5166, 5166, plus 4989.5, 4989.5, gives us $10,155.50. So those are our taxes before any adjustments. Excellent. All right, line 7. So line 7 is calculated for you. Now, when you do the payroll project, you're going to have to calculate that yourself. So what's going on with line 7 is, we have to look at the Form 941. So here's our Form 941. It's comparing your taxes calculated by this form, this amount. So the form is saying that we owe $10,155.5. We're going to compare that with what we actually paid, which is line 13, total deposits. Now, there could be a few cents difference just from rounding, because when we calculated our deposits for FICA Fit, we rounded once for each employee for each pay period. However, when we did it for this form, we only rounded once. So notice here for OSTI, we calculated it and we rounded once. And then down here for Medicare, we calculated and rounded once. So when you get to the payroll project, what you're going to put here in line 7, current quarter's adjustments for fractions of cents, is the difference between what you owe, line 6, and what you paid, line 13. Okay, line 8, current quarter's adjustment for sick pay. There's nothing in this problem about sick pay. That's an advanced topic for our tax class, so we're going to skip it. Current quarter's adjustments for tips and group term life insurance. There's no tips and there's no group term life insurance in this problem, so we're going to leave it blank. So line 10 says total taxes after adjustments. Line 6, right here, through 9. So 10,155.5 plus 0 is 10,155.5. Line 12, total taxes after adjustments. Subtract line 11. Oops, I skipped line 11. Line 11, qualified small business payroll tax credit for increasing research activities. That's an advanced topic for the tax class, so we're going to leave that blank. They give us no information about that for this problem or in this problem. So line 12, total taxes after adjustments and credits. Subtract line 11, 0, from line 10. Okay, and then line 13, total deposits for the quarter. So how do we find out how much we deposited? Well, we're going to go back up here. Remember where we paid for FICA fit. We paid FICA. Here's our FICA, and here's our fit. So here's one payment of FICA fit. Here's another payment, and here's a third payment of FICA fit. Now, don't accidentally include this last one where we're paying cash. Here we're paying FUTA SUTA. So remember, Form 941 is only about FICA fit. So to get that line 13, we need to add up these three numbers. 3058.66, 3058.66 plus 3261.04, 3261.04 plus 3835.8, 3835.8 equals 10,155.5. So that's our total deposits for the quarter. Okay. So again, what line 7 is, it's the difference. Okay. So line 7 is the current quarter's adjustments for fractions of cents. So this federal form realizes that you could be off by a few pennies due to rounding. So you're just going to put the few penny difference in here. And the difference is between what you owe, line 6, and what you paid, line 13. Now this problem, it just happened to be the same. There were no rounding differences, so it's 0. But there will usually be a penny or two off. But you really don't need to worry about it in this problem because it auto-calculates it for you, because apparently the publishers of this edition didn't think you could handle it. In previous editions, we had to enter and calculate that number ourselves. Okay, line 14, balance due. If line 12, this one, is more than line 13, but they're the same, and I know for a few of you that's going to bug you that there's no 0 in there. Okay, they're the same, so there's no overpayment. There's no balance due, and then there's no overpayment. Overpayment says if line 13 is greater than line 12. But there is no difference, so there is no overpayment or balance due. Check our answer. Well done. So we're almost done. Now, part 2, tell us about your deposit schedule. And they've already X'd in the box saying that we're a monthly depositor, and they're wondering how much we deposited each month. Well, we've already got these numbers. So let's scroll back up here to our journal entries. So our first one, November, we're going to copy and paste this amount, 3,058.66, paste it. And then we're going to go find the December one, 3261.04, paste it. Scroll back up here and get the January payment of FICA fit, 3835.8. Now remember, don't grab the FUTA SUTA payment because that has nothing to do with the Form 941. 941 is only about FICA fit. And then when we add these three, now remember, these are our payments that we made for FICA fit. We add those up, and that is the same as line 13, total deposits. We've already added them, so I'm just going to copy and paste this number. And then that's it. Good job.